Hey everyone, welcome back. This is the Sideways Upward Podcast, episode 4. I'm your host, Erim. I got Brian with me today. And today's episode, we're going to go a little bit differently. It's not going to be about business. It's going to be about personal fitness, specifically losing weight, losing fat, because we don't want to lose muscle. We want to lose fat. So, Brian, I believe you're also in a fat loss phase like I am.
I am. I gained a lot of weight within the last year, and now I'm getting very serious in terms of fat loss. But I've also been gaining a lot of muscles, so I really don't want to lose any of that. And I mean, we're going to try to cater it to losing fat, but it all depends on what people want to do. There might be people who actually do want to lose fat and muscle.
There might be people that want to get fat.
There might be people that want to get fat, yeah. Personal fatness.
Personal fatness. We're changing the title.
Yeah.
And now we're back. So, Brian, you are in a fat loss phase. How many pounds down are you so far?
So I started last week. And for full transparency, I am taking a compounded semaglutide right now. Even though I have lost fat the traditional way before, I just feel like the compounded semaglutide helps. It helps suppress a lot of the hunger, and that's what a lot of this comes down to is hunger suppression and how you can minimize the the urge to want to overeat or eat more calories than you should.
Yeah.
Obviously, like I said, semaglutide can help with that, but there's other alternatives that we're going to discuss today. And right now I'm down about, since I started, like 5 pounds, no, more than 5 pounds. I'm down like 7 pounds right now.
In 1 week.
Basically in a week, yeah,
Okay.
in about roughly a week. And so my goal is actually to lose 25 pounds.
Total.
In total, yeah. So, and something that you guys should know is as you're losing more and more weight, it becomes more difficult to lose more and more weight. So, as fat starts going down, the rapid progression in terms of weight loss actually gets a little tougher, and it's more resistant. And there's reasons for that, but it just means that you just have to be consistent with your routine and making sure you apply a lot of the stuff we talk about today potentially to be able to reach your goals.
Yeah, I feel like the further you are in the fat loss phase, the more tricks you have to try and the more kind of creative you have to get to keep losing the weight, not get too weak, and then you start losing muscle, and don't binge eat. Basically, just you take it too far and then you kind of give up and you do a binge eat and then you regret the next day.
Yeah.
What are some tricks you've been doing so far?
So actually right now I'm drinking some black coffee. So
Even though it's 9:40 p.m.?
even though it's 9:40 p.m. But black coffee is actually really good to drink early in the morning when you're fasted, waking up, because it makes you feel satiated, so you feel more full. And it helps you prolong your first meal. And this does not break your fast. So having black coffee on its own, with no creamer, no sugar, none of that, just black coffee on its own, is really good if you're trying to do something like intermittent fasting.
There's no calories either.
There's no calories in it. There's nothing. So this does not contribute to breaking your fast at all. So that's why a lot of people who do intermittent fasting will drink a black coffee in the morning, because it helps them in not feeling like they have to eat. And then it also, provides them the caffeine as well as 0 calories. So it's the perfect thing to have when you're trying to do intermittent fasting. For you guys, if you don't know, intermittent fasting is essentially not eating for a certain period of time. Usually, there's like 16 hours of no eating, and then there's an 8-hour window where you can eat, your calories for that 8-hour window. And then you start all over again. 16 hours of no eating, 8 hours. So you can be flexible with it. You could do 12 and 12. That's not going to be as effective. You want to try to minimize that eating window as much as possible to be more effective with your intermittent fast.
I've heard of 20 and 4 too. Some people
20 and 4 is possible,
it gets
yeah.
really crazy.
I mean, there's also like in Muslim religions and stuff, they go,
sun up to sundown.
Yeah, they go like full 24 hours fasting. And there's people that go like a week of fasting. That's
Just
a little extreme.
Water fast. But those are for really
yeah.
obese people. I think they can sustain that because their body's just breaking down the
But I feel like those more aggressive approaches are also harmful to your health. Like if you don't do it properly, it could lead to health issues. So it's better to avoid those kind of aggressive ones, but doing like a 16 and 8 approach, like starting off with that is actually good, beneficial.
Yeah.
You could probably manage that, and within an 8-hour window, that's enough time to get breakfast, lunch, and dinner if you want within there.
Here's a sideways upward strategy for the black coffee. One thing I've personally done before is to put salt in the coffee when you're drinking it when you're fasted. So you just mix maybe half a spoon of salt. It's some extra sodium, but you just drink some extra water to wash that down. And there's some studies that say that the interaction with the electrolytes and then the caffeine, it's really good for suppressing hunger, even more than just the black coffee by itself.
Interesting. I also heard of the EC stack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did that in high school.
What is it?
It's basically caffeine plus the ephedrine. The E and the C is ephedrine caffeine. There's also ECA stack, which is aspirin, adding aspirin, but they say the aspirin isn't really a requirement. Basically, the EC stack, it is a way to give yourself energy while also suppressing hunger. And also it lifts your metabolism as well. So you basically have a caffeine pill and then ephedrine in the form of Broncaid usually, which is found in a typical pharmacy. And then when taking those together, it has this thermic effect where you kind of heat up a little bit. You may sweat a little bit, but your hunger basically drops very low and your body's burning excess calories just at rest.
In the past I've also taken thermogenics, which you guys might have heard of, like brands like Hydroxycut or Oxyelite and all of these. They're basically thermogenics, which are supposed to be fat burner pills, like these pills that you take. And what I've noticed with them is it does increase the heart rate, and it also causes me to sweat more. Which in turn, if you're doing a lot of like going to the gym and training and stuff, you're gonna end up burning more calories and more fat as you start to sweat more and engage more, and your heart rate starts to increase more. So those are good things too to consider, but it's not for everyone, and it could be a little bit more dangerous as opposed to some of these alternative methods that we might.
And I would say to save those for maybe the very end of a cut when you really just can't keep it up anymore. In the very beginning, try to keep as minimal as possible. Don't go introducing all these techniques and things because you want to have them saved for when you are really hungry all the time, because you're starting with a certain calorie amount. I started my fat loss phase with 2,200 calories, and I'm down from 194 to 186 as of today. And my goal is to get to 175, maybe 170 if I can keep it up. And I feel like soon I may have to drop those calories from 2,200 to maybe 100 or 200 more. And that's less you have to play with as far as eating and making satiating meals.
Yeah, I think on top of the calories itself, it's important that you look at the macros as well. The macros being like your carbs that you're intaking, the fats that you're intaking. Protein is a very good macro to keep track of because proteins can also be very satiating. So if you eat more protein throughout the day, you're going to feel more full.
Not only muscle sparing, but also keeping hunger away.
Exactly. So if your goal is to keep muscle, right, to maintain it, to retain it, you want to eat more protein. By eating more protein, you'll also feel more full, so it'll cause you to not want to overeat.
One thing people don't know about protein, which is very interesting, is that it takes your body the most amount of energy to digest protein versus other macros. For, let's say, you eat 200 grams of carbs, your body will burn maybe 200 calories of carbs. Your body will burn 10 calories digesting it. If you eat 200 calories of protein, your body will burn 30 calories digesting it. So less is actually going into your system.
Well, what I have noticed is when I do overeat on the like, I don't know if you've noticed it, but when you do have a large amount of protein, like a little bit in excess, you run to the bathroom. You're getting on that toilet because it's literally funneling through your body. Your body has like your body has like a limit. If you go past that limit, your body's gonna want to excrete anything that's not being used, especially as it pertains to protein. So, for example, like if I'm having a meal after my workout and I'm taking in, steaks and protein shake and all that, you bet that I'm going to be, it's an overload, and I'm going to be running to that bathroom right after. And that's all going to be coming out because your body knows what it can take and it knows what is excess. and so it removes a lot of that excess.
Yeah.
So, but it's always good to track your protein. They say that you should have at least 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight that you want to achieve. So let's say I want to be 160 pounds throughout the day. I want to make sure I get 160 grams of protein.
Yeah.
And not in, this is very important. Not the body weight that you are currently. I'm 190 or 187 right now. I'm not going to be taking 187 grams of protein every day. I'm going to be taking 160 because my goal is to get to 160.
You could take more, but there's no added benefit. Basically, there's no.
No, unless you're like bodybuilding and stuff like that. Like you really want to But realistically, like you want to just take it to where your goal is, right? To where you want to reach in terms of weight. And for me, since I mentioned that I was on compounded semaglutide, it's very important that I make sure that I'm intaking enough protein, because on these drugs, it's a very known fact that a lot of people that are on them lose 40% of their muscle mass during their period. So they recommend that you take...
Is that with working out, or is that...
So no, that's the thing. So a lot of times they'll recommend, if you're going to be on this, you need to make sure you work out consistently, and you're also intaking enough protein to make sure you're maintaining your muscle mass, because the first thing that gets basically chipped away at is your muscle mass when you're on these drugs. So you want to make sure, in order to retain it, you're working out and eating enough protein, which is what I've been doing so far. And I haven't noticed any. I've only noticed my scale dropping, but I haven't noticed my actual muscle mass dropping.
If it's not clear already, we do really highly recommend you lift weights at least 3 times a week. I'm doing 4 times a week. How many are you doing?
I do it 6 times a week. I take 1 day off throughout the week.
Yeah, the 3 to however much you can do, just to retain that muscle. You don't want to look like a bag of cornflakes at the end of your...
And you also don't want to overtrain. Like when I'm going to the gym, I'm in and out within an hour.
Yeah.
I'm in and out within an hour. I do all my workouts. I lift my weights. I make sure I do all of that within an hour. I'm not... the less you can decrease the amount of time between sets, the better it is for you. You're going to notice that you're going to burn more calories. You're going to sweat more. A lot of times when you go to the gym, you'll notice a lot of people in between sets, they're spending 5 to 10 minutes just on their phones, chatting people up and stuff. And those are the people that are least effective when it comes to actually building muscle. They're actually wasting their time. They're not burning as much. If you minimize that, I try to keep it within 1 to 2 minutes at most, 2 minutes at most. If you minimize that, you're actually burning a lot more. You're exhausting your muscles more. It's better for you, and you can leave the gym quicker, which is more efficient for your day overall.
And then your workout becomes kind of like cardio too, because you're keeping your heart rate very high.
Yeah.
So you're burning more calories during that workout as well.
Yeah, you can skip cardio as long as you do it properly. Essentially.
Yeah, I do want to increase my cardio. I haven't been doing any sort of cardio so far, but probably in the later stage of the fat loss phase, I'm gonna have to incorporate cardio.
I feel like we can have a whole episode on working out, and we will.
Yeah.
But let's focus on other alternative strategies for losing weight and how we can go about that besides.
It all comes down to diet, right? Abs are made in the kitchen, they say.
Yeah.
So it's all about finding maybe the foods that are very satiating, very caloric sparse, but high volume. One of my favorites, and Brian's going to hate that I talk about this, is cauliflower rice. It's almost like a religion for me. And I've been telling everybody about it. My girlfriend, she hates hearing about it, but actually it doesn't.
It's just because the cauliflower reminds me of all the teens that go to the gym after 4 p.m.
I thought those were broccoli.
Oh, okay.
The broccoli haircut.
Yeah, the cauliflower broccoli haircuts that they have.
Yeah, that's probably the next Gen Alpha will have the cauliflower haircut.
They're going to dye it white.
At 16 years old with white hair. I just start salivating when I see the cauliflower. But the reason why I'm a proponent of cauliflower rice is because if you have a serving of rice, let's say 1 cup of rice, you prepare that, and I believe it's 600 something calories, 600 to 650 calories. That in form of cauliflower rice is 100 calories. So literally not even 20% of the amount, and you're having nearly the same volume, and you're just eating it, it's filling you up, you're getting stuffed, and when I have a meal with just some cauliflower rice, some mixed vegetables, and some kind of protein, chicken, and it's just like 400 calories only, but I'm so stuffed that I'm just like don't even want to think about food. I'm so ready to just go to bed.
You know, it's funny. It's funny you mentioned that. Today I actually had cauliflower rice. I made cauliflower rice. I made some chickpeas, and I had it with tuna, and I mixed it all together, and I felt full after, and I felt good.
Exactly.
But I also my trick is I don't like the taste of just a cauliflower rice by itself.
Yeah.
So here's what I did: is I put cheese over it and have the cheese melt. And obviously you're getting your protein in there too with the cheese.
Don't put a pound of cheese on it.
No, you won't put a pound of cheese on it, but at least you sprinkle some on top. It melts, and then now you have like a nice full meal there. So for me, that's my little trick with cauliflower rice.
Yeah. For cheese can be high calorie. There are low-fat versions of that, lower calorie versions. One thing I would recommend is when I was vegan, there's this powder called nutritional yeast. It sounds weird, but it's this kind of powder that I forget what they make it from. It's a type of yeast, obviously, but it tastes just like nacho cheese. Like it has this flavoring to it. I don't know why. If it's natural, but it gives this cheesy nacho flavor. So like a bunch of that over some rice, you're going to add maybe 30, 40 calories, very minimal, when you're getting a lot of flavor for it. So that's one thing I suggest people look into. And it has high protein too. It has like 5 grams of protein for that little amount of calories. And one other trick, well, it's not really a trick, it's just a weird thing that I do to stick to my diet, because I've been consistent. I've been every day hitting my caloric goals. Is my favorite food right now for cutting is sandwiches. Sandwiches are so infinitely customizable. You can get turkey, ham, even sausage or what have you, and then all the toppings that you like, pickles, lettuce, and all these things add some crunch and some flavor. Is little to no calories. And then I use mustard, which is basically 0 calories.
What kind of bread do you use?
Right now I'm using whole grain bread, but I like the oatmeal bread a lot too. But the whole grain I notice has the most protein.
I mean, what I've done, and it's been effective, the only challenge with it is it's less sustainable, is getting on a ketogenic diet, keto, which means I'm cutting out a lot of the carbs. And like I wouldn't have the bread. I would maybe substitute it with something else.
They have keto bread.
Yeah, they call it keto bread, but one, it doesn't taste good.
Tastes like a cinder block.
It tastes really bad. And two, it still has carbs. It's not 100% keto. Like I just feel like at that point you're just cheating yourself. Why not just have regular bread? For like the.
I've seen people do like a lettuce instead of bread. They just use a
you can substitute with lettuce. I guess the point is just to basically minimize the amount of carbs you take in. But for me, every time I've done that, I've always tended to have like a relapse in terms of me wanting to have more carbs afterwards, and then I end up gaining the weight much quicker. So it's not very sustainable in my opinion. Like those type of crash diets are very difficult to sustain.
I mean, whatever diet that works for you, as long as I believe it's necessary to have less calories than you're taking in. I'm sorry, less calories than you're burning to lose weight. So.
But I also believe that it's important that if you like something, make sure you can incorporate it into your diet. So if your goals is like 2,000 calories, for example, but you really like cookies, you can have a cookie a day. You can maybe have 2 cookies a day, but make sure you're factoring the calories into your overall calorie intake. Yeah. And that way you're not giving up what you like, but you're also incorporating it into your routine for the day in terms of what your goals are for the day. That way, it's more sustainable in the long run.
And what's becoming very popular this year, I've noticed, is the adding protein to everything, including I was walking around Costco today, and there's like a Chex Mix kind of snack that has protein in it, and then my sweet for the day, my treat for the day is a bowl of this protein cereal. It's like a Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but with protein in it. You're eating a bowl of cereal, and it tastes pretty close to Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but it's like 50 grams of protein. It's crazy.
Is that the Catalina Crunch one?
Catalina Crunch.
Yeah. No, that one's good because that one also has a lot of fiber in it.
Yeah.
And fiber is another thing that's really good when it comes to weight loss. You want to have higher amounts of fiber.
Sure.
because that helps with your digestive system, and that helps with you feeling more satiated, more full. And yeah, for sure, if you can incorporate fiber into your diets, do it, because that's very important.
One other trick that I use, because there's times where I want to gain weight, there's times when I want to lose weight. I want to gain the muscle and go on a calorie surplus. And one thing I just do that's very easy is for milks, you just change from whole milk to
1%
to not even fat-free almond milk, unsweetened. It's 30 calories.
I've tried that
for this much.
I've tried that, but I grew up drinking milk. So I'm very used to the taste of milk, right? And so for me, it actually works better to do the fat-free milk because it still has the taste of milk. It's just watered down. It has less fat.
Yeah.
Versus almond milk, because to me, almond milk does not taste anything close to what actual milk tastes like. So for someone like me who grew up with a lot of milk, I feel like for me it's more beneficial to have fat-free milk versus the almond milk. Although I have tried it, but I just can't. I tried to be consistent with it. I just can't. It's not the same.
Some people can't even handle regular milk too. Like my brother, he's pretty
like lactose
sensitive to milk. So
yeah, I mean, if you're lactose intolerant, then I mean they have Lactaid, which is milk that has no lactose in it. So he could probably drink that.
Not even lactose intolerant, but just sensitive, where it like kind of messes your stomach up a little bit. Like you get a little runny stomach kind of thing.
Yeah, but if he tries Lactaid, that'll probably solve it, because a lot of times it's the lactose in the milk that causes people to have sensitive digestive systems.
Right.
It's the lactose.
Yeah.
So, and Lactaid tastes just like regular milk also. I've also had it. It's basically the same.
Personally, I'm a soy boy. I drink soy milk. The people tell me that I'm going to grow a double D rack, but it has 7 grams of protein for 1 cup. That's basically like regular milk, which has 8 or so usually. So, and the taste for me tastes very similar to regular milk. Just give it a try. I mean, I think it's overblown.
I've had soy milk before. I also don't think it tastes exactly. But everybody
everyone has their preference.
Also, if you drink water before you eat a meal, that tends to help you feel fuller. So you won't overeat.
Especially cold water, probably.
Especially cold water. Actually, it's harder to drink cold water than regular water. But you know, if you can drink water before your meal, try to drink like a whole bottle. If you have a bottle of water, drink it. And see how you feel afterwards. I guarantee you're not gonna want to eat as much as you thought what you wanted to eat before you drank that bottle of water. So it really helps. These are just strategies. Also, when you go to restaurants, if you notice, they always bring out bread before your meal. That's to keep you full, right? So that you feel satiated. So when you have that bread, your body's already starting to get full.
Spoiling your appetite.
Right, and then by the time you're done with your meal, you're like, wow, I feel so full. Like, that was a lot of food.
Yeah.
Even though most likely it wasn't enough.
Ate like 500 carbs right there from some bread. So, no, the water thing is very good. As soon as I wake up now, what I've been doing lately is having like a bunch of water. I put a coffee mug, but with water in it, and I feel like it actually energizes me too a little bit in the morning. I
try to aim for a gallon of water a day. For me, and especially another secret to working out and to having a good metabolic system and all that is creatine. So when you take creatine, usually they say take at least 5 grams a day of creatine.
Now they're saying take more, take 20.
They're saying that if you take like 20, it's really good effects for your mind and all these things.
And there's no downsides.
There's really no downsides to creatine. And if you really want to like look more big in terms of muscles, what you want to do is you want to aim for having at least a gallon of water a day when you're on creatine, because of the water retention benefits of creatine. The creatine helps you retain water within your muscle.
Fill out your muscles.
It fills out your muscles, so you look more full, more like stronger when you're. Now, it isn't an immediate thing. Like, it's not like you start taking creatine today and you have a gallon of water, you're immediately going to see results. It's going to take like at least a month of you being consistent every single day for you to start noticing the results in terms of like how you look, your physique kind of changing. So it does take some time, but you have to be consistent with it. I take creatine every day. Yeah. And it's definitely helps, and I try to drink as much water as I can throughout the day.
I've tried to take creatine every day, and I've been really bad about it. But one thing I'm doing now is the gummies, the creatine gummies. It's just very convenient. I keep them in my office So the little scooper with the powder, it's very inexpensive, but how do I consume that? I just mix it with some water.
You can mix it with what I do is I mix it with my Greek yogurt, and you do not taste it at all. You can mix it into whatever drink. Like you just got these protein drinks, and if you mix it in there, you just shake it up. You're not gonna taste it most likely.
Yeah.
It also depends which one you're taking. So creatine monohydrate is different. So that one is a little bit more chalky and it's a little bit harder to mix. You want to make sure you get a creatine that mixes well with any kind of like liquids and stuff, because then those are the ones that you can easily just sprinkle into anything and just kind of mix it around and you won't even taste it. Okay. You don't want to just take creatine like as a scoop by itself. That's disgusting. I would never do that, but I would mix it with my drinks. You can even mix it with your coffee, like in the morning, creatine like your black coffee. Yeah, you won't even taste it because the coffee overpowers it. So you mix it with it, you just take your creatine.
Interesting.
So yeah, I mean, there's many ways you can take it, but I usually put it like in my Greek yogurt. I try to have Greek yogurt late at night before bed.
Yeah.
You always want to have like some kind of protein when you wake up and protein when you go to bed. And if you're intermittent fasting, you just have it as soon as your intermittent fast start. Like when you start eating, you take your protein. So you want to have protein at the beginning and at the end of your cycle.
Greek yogurt and cottage cheese are great for like a very low fat, low calorie protein meal. You can mix berries and things like that to flavor them up, and you'll have like 40 grams of protein and very little calories. So
yeah, eggs are probably the best source for protein, honestly. Eggs have a lot of casein protein, so having it, you can either have it late at night, you could have it in the morning.
Eggs at night?
Yeah, you can if you want. Like they say that like if you want, the thing with casein protein is different from whey in that it's longer. It takes longer to process, like to basically digest for digestion, and that's what you want overnight because you basically don't want your body to feel like it doesn't have enough protein throughout the day. So that's why when you take casein protein at night, it has a slow digestive period. So when you wake up, your body still thinks like, oh, I'm good on protein. And then that's when you take your whey protein, which is a shorter digestion period. So that one you want to take a little bit more frequently, which is why they say take casein protein at night before bed and take your whey protein throughout the day. And that if you do that, you're gonna notice results.
Speaking of bed, one thing that's critical for dieting and fat loss is to get your sleep every night. Like sleep is like an anabolic steroid almost. If you sleep correctly, have good sleep efficiency, because most people think, oh, I'm going to wake up at 6, so I should sleep at 10. That's to get my 8 hours. But actually, it takes you an average an hour and a half to actually get deep into the sleep where the actual...
For me, I struggle so much with sleep. Especially lately, I've been struggling a lot with sleep. I don't know what it is, but I've been struggling a lot with sleep.
The past 2 nights I've slept 3 hours or 4 hours.
Yeah, I think too, like, you want to make sure you minimize the amount of screen time you have right before bed. Like, make sure, like, you're not on your phone and doing stuff. And that's the biggest mistake I have is I bring my phone to my bed and I'm on my phone, I'm watching videos.
The blue light.
And then I try to go to sleep after and I can't. And it takes me over an hour to even try to fall asleep.
It's the blue light.
And then I'm always tossing and turning throughout the night. And it's just a big hassle. So lately, I've been struggling with that a lot. It doesn't help either that I'm having so much caffeine throughout the day. Today, I've had 2 energy drinks and now this. So that's almost like what, 500, 600 grams of caffeine? That's not good. Yep. Normally I don't have that much. I usually have at most like 200 grams in the day. But yeah, today I kind of went a little bit overboard, so hopefully I can fall asleep later. But yeah, no, having 8 hours of sleep is very important. Very, very important. Very underrated. And also for muscle recovery, it's probably the biggest thing.
For sure.
You want to make sure that you give your muscles enough time to rest and recover from all the strenuous activity. So getting those 8 hours is when you get the most rest and recovery.
Absolutely.
And for weight loss, it's extremely critical that you get, if you guys didn't know, you actually burn calories while you sleep.
Yeah, more than
you
when
burn
you're awake.
more calories while you sleep than when you're in the gym.
Because your body's recovering.
You're actually burning a lot of your calories at sleep. So that's why it's very important that you get really good rest. And I need to figure out new ways to actually get better rest because, man, maybe we could make that a whole other episode.
Sleep could just be one episode.
Yeah, absolutely, because I really want to like delve deep into why it is that I might be struggling with it and what can be done to fix that aspect of it.
We'll definitely put that on the books for an episode. I will say though that when I don't get enough sleep, like this morning, I went to the gym and I did some chest, and my weights were like 20 pounds less than usual because just lack of sleep.
Yeah.
When you get a full night's rest, you're working at your fullest strength, and you're preserving the most muscle that way because you're maintaining your lifts.
It's also important that when you go to the gym, you go at a time where you have peak energy throughout the day. So like if you're going immediately in the morning and you didn't get much sleep, that's probably the worst time to go. Yeah. If you didn't get much sleep the night before, you should probably wait. That day, you should have probably waited to go later in the day when you have more energy.
Then we couldn't record this podcast.
Yeah, well, that's true. But the whole point is you want to go at a point in the day where you feel like, okay, I have my peak energy at this time. Sometimes people have peak energy in the morning, which is why a lot of people go in the morning. But some people are not morning people, so they don't want to go in the morning because they feel like they have more energy throughout the day, which is like me. I don't feel like when I wake up, I'm like peak energy. No.
Yeah.
I usually feel that way a few hours in, and then I'm like, okay, now I can go to the gym and I feel good and I can lift my heavy weights.
One tip for having the most energy during your workout is, for me, what works in my case is to plan my food around my workout, like before and after. Before is so that you have enough carbs and calories in your system to have your glucose levels high, to have the energy to do the workout, and then after.
What would be the alternative to before and after? During your workout? You're just gonna have your meal at the bench?
Just be slamming down some pudding.
Yeah.
No, I mean, if I work out in the morning and then I eat the most right before I go to sleep, for example, it would be kind of.
No, so that's another thing is you don't want to eat at all 3 hours before you go to bed, because your body needs to digest the food, and if you eat right before bed, you're gonna actually struggle falling asleep. Yeah. Because your body has not fully digested the meal that you had right before you lay down. So it's very important that you don't have any meals at least 3 hours before sleep. Mm-hmm. At least.
Definitely.
And that's why it's important to do the intermittent fasting too, is because it helps control these kinds of things that,
Makes sense.
So for me, I try to cut it off, like my last meal, like before 8 p.m.
Yeah.
But lately I've been falling asleep like at 3 a.m, so I don't know.
There's like some saying or something. It's like the poor man's dinner is to go to sleep.
Yeah.
So become the poor man, and you will lose weight much more efficiently.
Yeah.
One other tip I have is protein loading in the morning. So in my workouts, I'm waking up at 4 a.m. lately because to make it to work on time at 9, or I like to be earlier. I like to be at 8. I need to wake up at 4 a.m. to prepare for the day, go to the gym, and go through traffic and all these things. And then one thing I like to do is just have a very protein-heavy shake. I've been doing this lately. I have a recipe, and it's like 75 grams of protein. And then I have my sandwich later in the day, and then that's another 60 to 70, and that's all your protein goals right there in 2 small meals. So finding ways to concentrate protein into the earlier part of the day, so that later you're more relaxed with. Maybe you have a business associate come over and you go out to dinner, and these dinners you're not going to eat steak or heavy foods because those are pretty heavy in fats.
Just make sure you're not farting with your protein intake while you're with your business partner.
Yeah. Do a courtesy fart by going to the bathroom and letting it out, and then come back clear.
But yeah, I mean, these are all great tips. Anything else you can think of?
No, I think we hit on all the points. I mean, it just comes down to finding ways that it'll stick for you. Not everybody, some people will do keto and have great success with it. Some people will just have a regular carb-heavy diet with protein and have success with it. Or paleo, whatever. There's so many diets. Just find the one that makes you stick to the.
As long as you're conscious of what you're eating and that you're maintaining a certain goal on a daily basis, that's what really matters. Not these diets, not all these things. As long as you're maintaining a goal and you're sticking to it on a daily basis, and you're tracking it and you're aware of it. Not necessarily track, because personally I don't like to use an app and tracking. No, I don't like to do that.
But you track your weight, right?
But mentally I'm tracking it. I'm like, okay, I had this, and I remember what I had. And then that actually helps prevent you from overeating, over snacking, and taking in empty calories that you wouldn't have otherwise taken if you're conscious throughout the day of what you're having. Another thing that's important is you treat eating as like a task for the day. You don't look at it as like a treat. You look at it as like okay.
It's like sustenance.
Yeah,
it's fuel.
You look at it more so like, okay, this is something I have to do. This is a task for the day. I have to eat this. Instead of looking at it like, okay, I really want this. Like this is a treat. Because that change in mindset will actually help you not want to crave things as much. So it's important to kind of switch your mindset a little bit and be like, okay, I guess in order for me to maintain this calorie deficit and to meet my protein goals, then I have to have this meal. And as you're eating, make sure that you're not looking at it as like, oh, this is like such a treat, blah, blah. You look at it as like, okay, this is another task that I'm checking off for the day. And on top of that, you don't want to be like doing things that are distracting you while you eat, like watching TV, watching videos, because then you're not
mindlessly eating.
Because then you're mindlessly eating and you tend to overeat when you do things like that. So it's better to just focus on your meal, look at it as a task, get it done, and then I guarantee you're not going to overeat.
Yeah.
If anything, you're going to undereat.
Yeah, listen to your body. At the end of the day, your body knows what's best for you.
That's the thing that a lot of people struggle with, especially people that are overweight. They don't listen to their body, they listen to their mind. And the mind is usually going to tell you, no, I want more, I want more, I want more. But your body will tell you something else.
Exactly. And then combine that with the drinking of water, because a lot of times when you think you're hungry, you're actually just thirsty. So next time you're in a fat loss phase and you're getting very hungry, just have a cup or two of water first, and then you'll know how actually hungry you are.
And it should be obvious too, but try to limit the amount of alcohol you take, because alcohol, even if you're at a calorie deficit, alcohol will be detrimental to your weight loss because it ruins your metabolic system. It just ruins it. It slows down your metabolism, slows it down. So it's better to just try to limit or avoid alcohol altogether if you can, because that is, it's, for me personally,
That's the gateway to...
I would drink a lot. So it just, I was working, I still am working out 6 days a week, very hard, all this consistently, low calories, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, why is this not working? Well, it's the alcohol. So I've been limiting alcohol, and the moment that I started to limit alcohol, I start noticing results almost immediately. Like the weight starts to drop really quick.
Yeah.
So
I think alcohol makes you retain water too, usually.
Yeah. No, and then it also makes you want to overeat or feel...
Yeah, it opens the gateway.
It opens that gateway,
floodgates.
basically at that point you're like, all right, let me go grab Taco Bell or something.
Yeah.
At that point, you just feel like super hungry after you're drinking. So it's better to avoid those things. Obviously, there's other substances that you should be avoiding that'll make you feel hungry as well. So, just make sure you're conscious of these things, and at the end of the day, you shouldn't struggle to lose any weight.
Yeah. Last tip I have on my side is to track your weight. And the best way to do that is at the same time every day, ideally in the mornings, because you haven't eaten yet. Because what you eat throughout the day will be different every day, sometimes or usually. And so that's going to manipulate your weight, and it's going to throw you off. So I would suggest as soon as you wake up, go to the bathroom. And then as you're changing into your clothes for the day, just go on the scale really quick and record your weight. So
this may or may not work for some people, because the thing is, losing weight is a very, very much a psychological thing. And when you don't notice that your scale is going down as quickly as you want it to, people tend to give up on the process they're in. What I tend to focus more on is the way I look. So instead of focusing or relying too much on the weight, which I do look at my weight frequently, but I don't rely on that solely. I rely on how I look in the mirror. To me, that's a more important indicator as to how I'm progressing, because as I'm gaining muscle, as I'm losing fat, I start noticing it physically in the mirror. And that to me is a better motivator to keep going in the process versus something like a scale, which might not reflect correctly, especially since, as you know, muscle is denser than fat. So as you gain more muscle and you lose fat, you're going to notice that your weight stays the same. However, physically, you're actually changing. Yeah. You're getting more buff, but you're not, psychologically, it'll mess with you because you'll think you're not losing weight or anything because your scale has stayed at the same weight. So to me, it's more important to really focus on how you're looking and progressing from a physical perspective as opposed to what is read on the scale, but you can use that to supplement
Yeah, I mean, it's just I'm kind of OCD, and I like having a number to base off of. But of course, your appearance is number one. And people say don't even track your weight; they say track your waist size.
Yeah, that's yes.
Because you could be very muscular, but you're never going to be a size 40 in the waist. So if you're going to go by appearance, just the one thing I would suggest is to take progress pictures like every week, because every day you're looking at yourself in the mirror and it's hard to see that gradual. It's so gradual that you don't even see the changes where you could lose 10 pounds and you feel like you didn't lose.
And you might even have body dysmorphia, so you might not be noticing the change. So it's always good to get a second opinion. For example, I've sent true progress pics. It's important to get that opinion from a friend, like, okay, yeah, man, I'm seeing a difference and this and that. Because sometimes you won't notice that yourself because of body dysmorphia. You might think like, oh, I haven't lost anything. Oh, I'm not really changing. Because like you said, you're seeing yourself too frequently, even if it's once a week. It might be too frequent for you, and you might really not be noticing the actual changes that are happening. So it's important to get a second opinion too, in that case.
I agree. I think that's a good amount of tips for the day. What do you think?
We can wrap it up?
Yeah. So we are sideways upward, and we want your weight to go sideways downward.
No, we don't want it sideways. We want it inwards. Inwards, downwards.
And downwards.
Yeah.
Okay. Be sure to drop a comment with your best weight loss tips, maybe something that you think is unusual or something you haven't heard before but that's worked well for you. This is what works well for us, and I'm excited to see us take it all the way to our goal.
Next time you see me, I'm going to be 30 pounds less. You won't even recognize me.
Your jaw's going to be so chiseled, you're just going to slice oranges on it.
I'm going to look like a Giga Chad.
Real life Giga Chad. Giga Brian.
All right, guys. Sideways upwards.
Sideways upwards. Out.